Good morning or afternoon, depends on when you're listening to this. This is Preston Jackson, Big County Preps. Today, I just want to drop a few notes to players and parents whose kids will be involved in this weekend's recruiting fair at Jefferson High School. Real quick, let me give you the details. The recruiting fair for Hillsborough County, Pinellas, Pasco, Manatee, those surrounding areas uh, will be at Jefferson High School. That's February the 11th through the 12th, Saturday and Sunday. The Polk County Recruiting Fair, which will be at Lake Wells High School, that's going to take place February 20th through 21st. So remember, the recruiting fair is a small school recruiting fair. NAIA, D3, and a few D2 schools are the primary colleges that will be attending. No D1s, no Florida States, FCF schools, none of that. This is a small school, lower division recruiting fair, and I'm going to tell you how it works. Saturday is the day for high school coaches to promote their athletes. There is a fee that high schools have to pay to be involved in this recruiting fair in order to promote their remaining seniors, if those remaining seniors are able to play at the collegiate level. Sunday is the day that the colleges promote their universities and football players to the parents and players. So let's go back to Saturday. What will happen on Saturday? It gets going early in the morning, I believe somewhere between 8 and 9 o'clock. The high school coaches go in, they set up shop, they put up display screens, they have grade summary reports, they have all the highlights for those kids, they have some type of character report that's probably typed up to provide to those universities when they come around. It is a large room, usually in the lunchroom or cafeteria. The high schools have their own table and or booth what they have set up. Usually multiple coaches are there because they could be hosting multiple college coaches at the same time coming to see their kids. Now you're looking at around between 30 and 40 different high schools who are there promoting those schools. Now this recruiting fair is somewhat of a tour. Okay, so the college coaches go throughout the whole they make several stops in the state of Florida, and they only have certain amount of scholarship money or monies that they can put into financial packages for athletes after they get throughout the state. So they have 2 or 3 stops before they come to Tampa, and then they end their tour in Polk County. So you're not just competing against the high schools within that cafeteria, you're also competing against other athletes in other areas of the state and outside of the state. But since we're talking just the Florida base and we're talking about just this individual recruiting fair, you're competing against other athletes throughout the state and how much money is allotted, how much money is going to be going to those athletes they like in other areas. Also, how much money is going to be available they can provide to athletes within that cafeteria at Jefferson High School. Now, it is important to note no full athletic scholarships are awarded at the lower division small school recruiting fairs. D3 schools do not provide athletic scholarships. NAIA provide athletic scholarships, but they're usually met with a financial package. Few D2 schools provide athletic scholarships. Most of the time, they're partial scholarships, and they're met with the financial package. So let's jump into the financial package, which is going to be highly important. Basically, the meat and the potatoes of this recruiting fair, of any recruiting fair. Anytime you're dealing with small, lower division, small school programs. So your financial package, they can vary. However, you have 3 basic essentials. The first is your academic merit. The second is your need-based aid. And your third are institutional grants or additional scholarships. So let's go to the first one, academic merit. Your academic merit could vary depending on the institution you're applying for. But most of the time, that's the combination of your GPA and test score. The higher the test score, the higher the GPA, the easier it is to get into the schools. Admissions will allow a football program to bring in that student athlete because they've been successful in the classroom. Now let's go to your need-based aid. That's your Pell and other federal grants. Okay, need-based social economic conditions, how much money your family brings in, how many dependents, all that good stuff that you'll fill out online, and they'll tell you that you qualify for a certain amount of money, federal grant money. Okay, then let's go down to your additional institutional grants and or additional scholarships. They could vary from university to university. There are scholarships there that you can get for your race. There are scholarships you can get for your gender. There are scholarships that you can get for various different things at various universities. However, they take that whatever they have available and you are eligible for, they add that into your financial package. So even though it's not an athletic scholarship, they're able to pull different grants and different monies from different places and able to give you the most money possible so you're not coming out of pocket a whole lot of money. So when you talk a financial package, you're talking about many different, not many, but you're talking about some essential elements that go into those financial packages to where the universities are able to put money together so you're not coming out of pocket as much to attend that school and play football at that university. Okay. Now let's go back to what happens at the recruiting fair. The college coaches will maneuver their way around the cafeteria. They'll probably hit every school within the cafeteria. And what they're going to say to the high school coach is not, "Coach, I need a 6'4" defensive lineman." They're going to say, "Coach, do you have this position with these academic requirements? Do they fit? I need a 3.5 kid with a 21 ACT score, and I need to have 2 defense linemen. Do you have that?" Grades are the most important thing when it comes to the small school, lower division athletes, or universities, because those athletes have to be able to pass admission to get into these schools. And usually the lower division of school, the higher the academic requirements are to get in. So when they go there, hey, you can have a great athlete. Coach could have a really good defensive tackle, really talented, probably a few inches too short to play at the big leagues. But if he's hurting academically, if he's only pushing like a 2.4 GPA and just barely scratching a 17, he's not going to be attractive at all to these lower division colleges. And he could be the best athlete in that cafeteria. However, he's not going to be able to get into the school. So he's not going to be very attractive. Now, once that happens, the coaches, after the college coaches maneuver their way around, as the college coaches are maneuvering their way around, the high school coaches are taking note to which universities want to see which one of their athletes. Now, that's key, okay? Because on Sunday, what you'll see is there could be some kids that only 2 schools want to see. Then there could be some kids that 30 different universities want to see this one kid. And that's because the kids who are good athletes but have really good academics, and they're a position of need for that school, they're going to be in high demand on Sunday. So let me give you an example. Let's just say XY University. Oh, excuse me, not XY University. Let's say Johnny Joe and Jim Jane. All right. Johnny Joe is a really good athlete. However, his grades are really average. Jim Jane, on the other hand, good athlete, not better than Johnny, but good athlete. However, he has a 3.5 GPA and he's got a 23 on the ACT. The high school coach throughout Saturday is going to take note. Jimmy John, X University wants to see Jimmy. A University wants to see Jimmy. B University wants to see Jimmy. In total, 13 different universities are going to want to see Jimmy and his parents on Sunday. That's because Jimmy is in a position of need. They need that position on their roster. He also has really good academics, and he's probably going to qualify for a bunch of different grants. On the other hand, student number one was averaging his grades. However, his film looked really good, but only 2 universities are going to want to see him on Sunday because the admissions won't let him into school with his academics. Okay, and how do we know that? Because the high schools have the grade summary points of all the athletes that they're promoting. All right, more than likely it's going to be a high percentage of their seniors, at least the ones that they think can play ball at the next level. The coach will sit down, they'll go over the academics with them, they'll go through this grade summary report. If it looks good, if they can pull some strings, they'll say put the film on. The coach will put the film on. The high school coach and the college coach will watch film together. They'll come back after the film and discuss that student athlete. If the college coach likes him, he'll tell the coach, make sure I see him on Sunday. And then that's how the progression starts, and they take note on which colleges want to see him on Sunday. This will happen throughout the whole day. As many college coaches that come through, the high school coach will be working all day long trying to promote as many of their athletes as possible. Here's the key. A lot of time there are a lot of complaints from the parents saying, hey, my high school coach wasn't working for my kid. And that could be the case. Not saying anybody is not telling the truth when they do speak that, because that's their truth. However, on the back end of that, high school coaches don't give out scholarships. They can only put the athlete in front of the colleges, okay? The colleges have to say, yes, we want this kid. Yes, we want him part of our roster. Yes, we want him at our university. If they don't want him, they just don't want him. Or the kid does not have the grades to get in. And he does not have the grades to get in, and he's been struggling for 4 years in high school, they definitely think he's going to struggle in college. The greatest predictor of college success is a high school GPA. If they struggle in high school, more than likely, the statistics say they will struggle in college when they're independent. They have a varying class schedule. They have many other distractions and football on top of that. It's the greatest predictor of college success is your high school GPA. Okay? So now, with that said, on Saturday, as the coaches, high school coach are promoting to the college coaches, taking notes of who they want to see and who they don't want to see, Saturday evening, the college coaches are going to contact their seniors and say, hey, I need you here at this time on Sunday. Usually it's afternoon. It's in the afternoon, like 12, 1 o'clock. I need you here on Sunday. Please have on shirt, tie, slacks, dress shoes. Okay, you want to make your best impression in front of these college coaches. The college coaches on Sunday will have all their booths set up and all their material and all their highlight videos, because now they're marketing their programs. They know they're competing against every other college in that cafeteria. So they want to be able to answer questions. They want to be able to look really good, put their best foot forward, and have a great first impression to these athletes, and most importantly, their parents. So what happens is it's important the high school coach is there on Sunday also. Remember, these high school coaches are taking a whole weekend away from their own families and having a whole lot of time to deal with other people's kids to promote them to the universities. Okay, so now what happens is the high school coach on Sunday will be directing traffic for his athletes and the athletes' parents to which schools want to see those athletes. Okay. And it'd be the responsibility of the athlete and the parent to make sure they hit up each one of those schools that want to see those athletes and ask as many questions as possible. Number one question is where the school is located. The most frustrating part about the college recruiting fair is that kids come to the college recruiting fair thinking they are better than the college recruiting fair, thinking they're D1 athletes, thinking they're 1AA athletes, and no 1AA and no D1 school wants them. However, these lower division schools do want them, but they don't want to be there. All right, they don't necessarily know where the school is located. So they commit to these schools, they sign with the schools, they go off to Timbuktu, they don't necessarily know what it is, and then they come back and transfer or drop out of school just because they don't like the location of the school. Okay? It's very frustrating when the coach is putting all the work, They're trying to get you into school. They're trying to promote it. Your parents have finally found a package for you. They're not coming out of pocket a whole lot. And then the kids go off to school and then come back and want everybody else to start all over with the process just because they didn't like the school's location. All right. So know where the school is located. The first thing you ask is, where is the school located? If you don't want to be there, then say, hey, you don't want to be there. If it's not that important for you to go to that school, or you don't want to play football that much, just tell them. Tell the high school coach, tell your parents. At least everybody's on the same page and not fighting for an opportunity that you don't necessarily want. Okay? You as being the athlete. On Sunday, as the parents are asking questions, the student athletes are asking questions, the high school coach is directing traffic. They will provide contact information for you to ask additional questions and start talking about financial packages after you apply whatever they tell you, the instruction that you need to do to apply for certain grants, especially your Pell grants, and make sure that you get past the admission, because at that point, they'll be able to send you something in writing within the next few weeks, and it tell you exactly what you'll be paying either per semester or per year to attend that university and play ball. A lot of kids come out only after paying $1,500, $2,000 a year. And now you're paying around $10,000 for a 4-year university and got to play ball, and you only got $10,000 in debt. That's a lot better than having $100,000 in debt. Okay? So I just wanted to give a few notes on what you'll see at the recruiting fair. The kids won't see on Saturday. The parents will get to see on Saturday as the high school coaches are promoting the student athletes. But on Sunday, it's going to be organized chaos. It will be a lot of kids there. It'll be a lot of parents there. It'll be a lot of high school coaches. It'll be a lot of moving and shaking around in the cafeteria at one time. So it's important to be organized, and parents, bring a notebook, bring a pencil to make sure you're taking notes about each university and each coach that you're talking to. Please ask for business cards. Please make sure you're making notes of what they can do and what they can't do. And then you're going to have to ask also football questions, because this is a football recruiting fair. So hopefully that helps. The high school coaches, if you haven't been before, I definitely recommend that at least 2 to 3 members, if not more, off your staff are present for Saturday, because when the college coaches really get going, they get there around noon. A lot of them get there. You could have 3, 4, 5 different colleges sitting at your table at one time. So multiple screens are good. Definitely, if you have a portable copy machine, bring a portable copy machine with extra paper, because you're definitely going to be running off grade summary reports so those college coaches can take them with them. And you want different coaches being able to handle the demand. You don't want to have the demand there and a college coach say, hey, I'll come back because you're kind of tied up, and he never returns. So you want to be able to handle the demand, and the way that you handle the demand is have other coaches there to assist you. Multiple screens or multiple computers to be able to show multiple athletes at one time. Also, don't forget your extra pens and pencils. You'd be surprised at how many coaches, hey, do you have an extra pen and pencil and highlighter? Because if there's certain things on the grade summary report that you want to make sure that you make note of and highlight, so the college coach either come back to it or you need to come back to it yourself, use that highlighter. I think that pretty much does it. It's a great deal. And a lot of people don't take advantage of it, but a lot of kids have continued on and got college degrees and played college football from these recruiting fairs. And you'd be surprised how hungry the small schools are to have good players with good grades on their campus. All right. Good luck to all the athletes and high schools participating. I will also, before I go, I want to make sure that you ask your high school coach before Saturday gets here about the recruiting fair. Okay? He should be able to give some instruction. He'll be able to give some more detail on it, so you're prepared also as an athlete and a household about the recruiting fair on Saturday. If he has not already done so, make sure you ask him, Coach, I heard from Big County Preps, or I saw on Twitter, or whatever the case may be, that you ask for. Remember, the high schools have to pay a fee to be involved in the recruiting fair. It's not free for them to just to come promote those athletes. Okay? So they have to pay a fee. I don't know how much the fee is, but they have to pay a fee to also promote those athletes. So now they're spending time and money showing a dedication for their program and their athletes. With that said, have a great rest of your day. We're out.